Some NFL legends are getting pissed because Patrick Mahomes is busy breaking every quarterback record that has ever existed. And this is every record Patrick Mahomes has broken.
Mahomes, cannon, touchdown, Chris.
Now gets it away. Are you kidding me?
Last season in 2022, Patrick Mahomes broke the record for most combined yards in a season of any player in NFL history. Mahomes passed for 5,250 yards, rushed for 358 yards, and even reeled in 6 yards receiving. In total, he accumulated 5,614 yards, breaking Drew Brees' previous record of 5,562 total yards for New Orleans back in 2011. Breaking Drew's ridiculous record was a breeze for Mahomes, but we're just getting started. This next one is a little surprising. Last season, Patrick Mahomes became the first quarterback to ever lead the league in passing yards and win a Super Bowl in the same season. Tom Brady led the league in passing yards 4 times and won 7 Super Bowls, but never did both in the same season. The closest he ever came was in 2017 when he led the league in passing yards before getting thumped in the Super Bowl to Big Dick Nick Foles and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. You could assume that at least one quarterback would have accomplished that feat before Patty, but turns out that just ain't the case. And opponents have to be relentless with Mahomes, cause even if you think you've got him beat, you probably don't. Patrick Mahomes is the comeback king, and the bigger the stage, the more supercharged he gets. In the Super Bowl, Mahomes is more charged up than Wilt Chamberlain on 10 Viagras, but without the massive boner. Instead, Mahomes uses his powers to annihilate opposing defenses, and he comes hardest in the fourth quarter.
Oh my God, bro.
In both Super Bowls he's won, he had to bring his team back from down 10 points to do so. No other quarterback has ever brought his team back from down 10 in 2 separate Super Bowls. Now that's what I call clutch. But the truth is, Mahomes doesn't only orchestrate massive comebacks in the Super Bowl, he does it all season long. He's sort of like a cockroach. You can't squash him. Even when you think you've exterminated him, he comes back out of nowhere. In fact, in games that Mahomes has gone down by 10 or more points in his career, he has a 13-9 record. No quarterback who has gone down by 10 5 times in his career has won even half the time. Even when he goes down, he still performs. That's why his wife Brittany is always smiling. And if you like this video and subscribe to our channel, we'll love you too. But not in a weird way. More like the kind of love where we wear Chiefs jerseys together and watch Mahomes rack up wins. Actually, Patrick Mahomes has been winning more than any other quarterback to ever play so far in his career. The numbers are beyond astonishing. If you include the playoffs, through his first 100 starts, Mahomes went 80-20, giving him a win percentage of 80%. That is the highest of all time. Next on the list are a couple of guys that seemed unbeatable. Tom Brady had a career winning percentage of 75%, while Roger Staubach and Joe Montana have been bumped to 3rd and 4th on the list with winning percentages of 73% and 71%. And Mahomes isn't just gathering wins. Some of these stats that he's putting up are just mind-blowing. Passer rating is a numerical measure that reflects a quarterback's efficiency and effectiveness in various aspects of passing. It is widely used as a single value that summarizes their overall performance. Patrick Mahomes currently has the best career passer rating of any quarterback in NFL history. He's one of only 4 quarterbacks in history with a career passer rating higher than 100. Second on the list is Aaron Rodgers. Regular season passer rating is one thing. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is pretty good, I guess, but Mahomes' dominance far surpasses. Patrick Mahomes doesn't only have the best passer rating in the regular season, he also has the all-time highest playoff passer rating. In the playoffs, he even has a higher passer rating than his record-holding regular season passer rating at 107.4. He's currently breaking the all-time record set by legendary Packers quarterback Bart Starr, who retired way back in 1971. Now that is a record that has hung around for a while, but Mahomes doesn't care. He eats records for breakfast smothered in ketchup. And he also passes for so many yards that it almost doesn't make sense. When it comes to career passing yards per game, Patrick Mahomes is the all-time leader in that category too at 299.8 yards per game. That's almost 300 yards per game on average. The best game of most quarterbacks' entire career is just another day at the office for Patty. He breaks records as casually as making small talk in the meeting room across from the hot new receptionist's desk. "Hey Sandra, how you doing?" Anyways, second all-time is Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert at 283.4 yards per game. But the gap between Mahomes and Herbert is wider than the gap between Herbert and Matt Ryan, the 8th highest quarterback in the category. Now, those stats are cool and all, but real NFL scouts and coaches like fancy stats that make it seem like they know more about football than anyone else. But no matter what stats you track, the only constant is that Mahomes remains the greatest. There is an analytic to measure quarterbacks' productivity in the NFL called adjusted net yards per pass attempt. In simple terms, it adds up the good things a quarterback does, such as passing yards and touchdowns, and subtracts the bad things like interceptions and yards lost due to sacks. Then it divides this by the total number of passes thrown and sacks. And Mahomes has the best adjusted net yards per pass attempt in the league's history. But the crazy part is how much better he is than anyone else's. Mahomes' adjusted total is currently 7.92. Second place all time is Aaron Rodgers at 7.35. But the gap between Mahomes and Rodgers is wider than the gap between Rodgers and the 13th best player of all time, Russell Wilson. But wait, there's more. Another fancy stat used to measure quarterbacks is adjusted yards per pass attempt. It measures how much yardage a quarterback averages per throw while also taking interceptions, sacks, and sack yardage into consideration. And a big surprise, Patrick Mahomes is the all-time leader in that category too. Mahomes is also the leader in net yards per pass attempt and adjusted net yards per pass attempt. Trailing him in these categories are NFL legends Aaron Rodgers and the forehead himself, Peyton Manning, who were the record holders before Mahomes came around. We have to realize Mahomes is only 28 years old. It'll take him another decade before he starts touching Tom Brady's all-time records, but he's on pace to break every one of them, as long as he stays healthy. Here are some big checkpoints he has hit along the way. Patrick Mahomes was also the fastest player in NFL history to throw for 25,000 yards. He reached the milestone in only 83 games. That record he stole from Los Angeles Rams QB Matthew Stafford, who threw for 25,000 yards in just 90 games when he was on the Lions. Yards are one thing, but can Mahomes finish? Yep, all over yo face. Mahomes also threw 200 career touchdown passes faster than any other quarterback ever. In the 84th game of his NFL career, Mahomes threw his 200th touchdown pass to tight end Noah Gray. He broke the record of legendary Dan Marino, who took 89 games to throw 200 touchdown passes. I mean, that Dan Marino guy was pretty good, but he never won a Super Bowl or anything, but that's because he didn't step up in the playoffs like Patty. Mahomes is tied with a few other quarterbacks for most passing touchdowns in a single postseason with 11. Those quarterbacks are Joe Montana, Kurt Warner, and Joe Flacco. However, none of them rushed for a single touchdown during their postseason runs. If you add passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns together, Mahomes has scored more in a single postseason than anyone else with a total of 12. But Mahomes didn't just do it once, he did it twice. Once in 2019, then again in 2021. Damn, this guy is just breaking them all. They might have to rename the record books the Books of Patrick Mahomes. And the most wild part is that his best years might still be ahead of him. He's not even 30 yet. If you include the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes has already thrown for 300 or more yards in 49 separate games. That is more than any other quarterback threw before turning 30 years old. The previous record holder was Dan Marino with 41. When it comes to 400-yard passing games, Mahomes is currently tied with Marino at 11 and only needs one more to stand alone as the all-time leader in that category too. And before we go, let's just remind you how Mahomes is practically eliminating Marino from the record books. Poor guy tried his best, but Mahomes is just on another level. Mahomes has thrown for 4 or more touchdowns in a single game 19 times already in his career. Once again, that is another all-time record surpassing Marino's previous mark of 17 times before age 30. With Mahomes breaking every record that comes his way, it doesn't come cheap, and you can see why. Patrick Mahomes has certainly earned himself a big contract. In fact, just to top off his records, he signed the biggest contract in NFL history. Back in July of 2020, Mahomes signed a massive 10-year contract extension worth a total sum of $450 million. It might sound like a lot, especially the 10 years, but Mahomes most certainly deserves it, and the Chiefs weren't about to start messing around with their superstar. And guess what? The contract is already paid off in spades when Mahomes and the Chiefs won the Super Bowl in 2022. By doing so, Mahomes debunked a myth that teams that pay their quarterback too much can't win the ship. Mahomes was earning 17.2% of the team's salary cap budget when he won, which sets another NFL record. The previous record was set by Steve Young, who was getting paid 13.1% of the 49ers salary cap when he won the Super Bowl in 1994. Mahomes is the ultimate badass. There you have it, guys. That was every record Patrick Mahomes has broken. And there are so many more to come. Thanks for hanging with us. If you liked this video, please don't forget to let us know by giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. Also, click on one of the video links currently on your screen to watch more of our NFL content.